Today we're going to experience vintage made new again with this woman's peaked hat coming up next.
Gonna be okay. I think I'm gonna be amazed in this beautiful day. Pretty smile. I think
Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as Yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to experience the women's peaked hat, and this is a great vintage pattern that has been revived and it looks absolutely amazing, and it's a lot more easier to crochet than it looks like. So what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be showing you pattern tips in order for you to make this successfully and to make it much faster when you know the key elements. First of all, we're going to review the back of the hat, and you will notice from the side profile that the back of the hat is more of a flat shape, just like so. And I'm going to show you some key components, because when it comes to all these spokes here in the back, you're going to notice that there is a pattern even if you don't see it within the instructions. Within today's pattern you're going to be noticing a set of written instructions, and you can follow those very easily, but I really like the crochet diagram that is being shown on the second page of the instructions. This is what I refer to when I'm reading my instructions, and what I really want to point out to you is that I want to show you the correlation of the spokes versus the pattern here, and that I was really confused on rounds number 5 and 6 as well as 7 and 8 because I wasn't understanding that there's a correlation to how this hat is growing. Because there are 16 spokes that go around this, growing this hat actually is a little more harder when you're actually going to read the instructions, because you're thinking that the diagram is wrong and you're thinking that the designer is wrong. What's happening here is that in a normal hat you would have normally around 12 of these spokes, and usually it's a flat hat so it's not as obvious as it is today. And what you usually have is that you have 4 single crochet and then 2 into the next, 4 single crochet, 2 in the next. But because there are 16 here, these do not grow equally. So in rounds number 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 you're going to notice that there's a differential in the instructions, because it has to grow naturally without getting too big. If it gets big too fast, then what happens is that the hat loses the formation and doesn't appear to be flat at the back. So I'm gonna just show you another tip right now. So let's review the diagram a little more carefully, and you can read this in the instructions as well, but the diagram is a lot easier to tell. So what's going to happen in rows number 5 and 6, so right here and here, and 7 and 8 is a differential of stitches in between the spokes. So let's review number 5 first. So 5 will come around, and then you will have 1 double crochet sitting by itself, and then you're going to have the actual spoke. Okay, so these are the spokes. I've done them in green and pink, and if you followed around, the next one will have 2 double crochets into the same one underneath, and then a spoke, and then there's 1 by itself and then a spoke. So you can see here that up until rounds number 4 we have been growing equally, but in 5 what happens is that there's going to be 1 double crochet by itself, and on the other side of the spoke it'll be 2, and then there'll be 1 and 2. So how it works out is that number 6 then is that this one that's sitting by itself will then end up being 2. There will be 2 put into there, and then these 2 that were put into 5 into row number 5 is that 1 double crochet will be in each. So really 5 basically is the start of the growing, but it's not growing in between each spoke, it's only growing in every other one. And then 6, it's growing again, but it's growing into the one that wasn't growing in number 5. Hopefully that makes any sense. Same thing is happening with 7. So 7 we have 2 double crochets sitting by themselves. The next one we're going to have 2 into the same, and then a third one over here. So basically you have 2 double crochets here. This one there's going to be 3, 2 and 3. So then we come around to number 8, then these 2 end up becoming 3. This is 3, 3, 3. So you can kind of see that within 5 all the way to 8 is that it's growing slowly, but it's not growing equally, so that there's not the same growth in between all of the spokes, and hopefully that makes a lot of sense to you. Just for fun today I'm going to be using Peyton's Canadiana, and this is an acrylic yarn. You can see on the instructions that it's a 5mm crochet hook today, which we're going to be using off camera, as well as it's really great. You only need actually 1 ball for one of these, so if you're substituting your yarn just make sure it matches this information, and of course in the more information of this video I will provide a link for the pattern as well as details in regards to the yarn. So as per the diagram, and probably what you already know, we're going to be starting at the top of the hat, and so let's create a slip knot to begin, and like so. And there, remember, there's other slower tutorials. If you're just learning how to crochet, we do have other tutorials on doing things like that a lot more slower within our channel. We're going to begin and we're going to do a chaining of 3. So 1, 2, 3, and let's form the center ring of the hat. So we're just gonna come into the very center like so, or sorry, the very starting chain, just like so. Pull through the yarn like this. And basically you have a ring. It's kind of hard to tell, it's a little tight, but if you have it too big then you're gonna have a hole right in the top of your hat, and we don't want that. So let's start our first round. Very simple. We're just going to start and begin with a chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to do 7 double crochets into the center. 7's kind of a weird number, right? But remember in the rules of crochet that this chaining of 3 counts as one of the double crochets, therefore it's actually 8. So we're going to put in 7 double crochets right into the center. So just pull it open, look for the center of that ring, okay, and we're going to put in 7 double crochets. So that was 1 and 2, we have 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7. So you're going to notice right away it's like, whoa, that did not go all the way around. You have to trust in the pattern. So if you're counting at this point, remember that the chain 3 counts as a double crochet, so you can actually count that out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So basically the chain 3 plus 7 double crochets equals 8. So let's begin. We're going to then slip stitch to the top of the chain 3 that we started with, and that's gonna pull it into a final circle. So just pull through and through. Never go into the gap just like I'm showing there. Always go into a chain space or chain area of that, and then that will pull it nice and close, and so you don't end up having any gaudy gaps within your work. Let's move on to round number 2. Let's begin round number 2, but there's some special instructions that we need to pay attention to. It says chain 2. Now if you look at the special instructions above, it says chain 2 at the beginning of the round does not count as a stitch. That's important because you don't want to miscount any of your stuff that's going all the way around. What we're going to be doing is we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and we're going to do a DCFP into each one of these. So what is exactly that? That's a double crochet front post, and we need to do 2 of them around each one of the 8. Okay, so that chain 3 is included in that. So we're just gonna start off with the very first one. It's kind of hard to see, but you can actually, once you get the first one, it's easy. So how you do a front post double crochet is basically wrap the hook coming in to the side of the post and back out the other side, like so. And we're coming from the front and we're going to double crochet as normal, and we want to do 2 into each one of these. So this is gonna grow the hat by doubling the rotation going all the way around. Once you get the first one, we're going to do 2 into the next. So just coming into the side, pop it out the other side and put in 2 double crochets there. So that's a front post double crochet. We come into the next, and you keep doing that all the way around. So there should be a total of 8 sections where there's 2 stitches coming out of, if you've got it counted properly. So continue to do that. I'll meet you back up in just a second. We'll finish off this round together. So I've just come up all the way around. I know that I'm done because I can see that I have 8 sections of 2 front post double crochets going around. If you can't see it, just pull it apart and you will see it. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Now here's the funny thing about this pattern. If you join it to the chain 2 that you started with, you're gonna have a really bad seam. So with this pattern, the chain 2 just gets you to the height that you need, but you don't use it for anything else. You just simply, when you go to slip stitch, you're gonna go to the top of the first front post double crochet to join it. Okay, so you just pull through and through, and then that keeps that seam line in control. So what I'm going to do is that I've just joined it, but what happens if I want to join on more yarn? If I want to change color, I'm gonna cover that next. So I'm just gonna fasten this off. You can change color as often as you wish. It's actually kind of fun. I have a really outlandish colorful hat within this pattern and it looks amazing. So I'm just going to fasten this off. Just weave in a few ends here, and I'm going to join on a second color, and I'm basically just gonna change color at random throughout this hat so that my hat doesn't, it looks more artistic than it looks planned, and that's just something that I prefer within myself. So I'm going to be right back and I'll get you some more yarn and I'll show you how to do more. For round number 3 I'm going to add another color, and I'm just gonna get my blue up, and I'm just gonna create a slip knot. And this is how I join my yarn. It's just a preference for me. If you wanna join it any way else, you can be welcome to do so. So I can clearly see that this is my chain 2 in behind here, and I can see that all of the sections are there. When I go to join on the new yarn, I wanna join it to the very top of the first front post double crochet. The reason for it is that's where we're gonna start it, because that's where we joined the other round. So let's just join that on. Just pull it through. Okay, leave that straggler underneath, and we want to chain 2. 1 and 2. And now we're ready to move on to round number 3. Let's begin round number 3. Round number 3 does not grow up equally, so it's not the same amount of stitches in between all of these spokes. So the spokes are gonna do a division off. So let's begin, and we're going to do front post double crochet around the first front post double crochet. Just like so. Okay, and then what we're going to do is that we're gonna put another front post double crochet around the next one. So here's where the fun begins. So we need to put in a double crochet, but the double crochet cannot go in anywhere because we have the front post double crochets here. So what we have to do is just pull these apart, and we're gonna double crochet right in between the gapping space. That's right. So we're adding in our stitch there. So now we're gonna continue. So these next 2 front post double crochet are gonna get 1 each. So a front post double crochet around that one, and a front post double crochet around that one. And now it's time to do our secondary, which is making it a little bit bigger. So we're now gonna come into the next gapping spaces. Okay, so we're just gonna put in 1 double crochet. Do you see that? So basically the 2 are working together, and then we're just putting in a double crochet in between. So these 2 front post double crochet are gonna get 1 each front post double crochet, and then we just double crochet in between. So we pull it apart and just go in between the 2 sections and double crochet. Continue to do that all the way around for round number 3. So in coming up all the way around, I have my 2 front post double crochet in, and I screwed up in the very first time I ever did this hat. And what I didn't do is that I didn't put a double crochet in between here. So here's the front post double crochets here, here's the front on this side. I need to put one in this gap before we continue. And then basically I have to then slip stitch to the top of the beginning front post double crochet. So this chaining of 2, I just completely ignore it and just come into the top just like this. And what I'm gonna do when I come back, I'm gonna switch off these colors and start on new again, and basically it's working out pretty good, and you just gotta make sure you're being consistent when growing this hat. Let's begin round number 4, and this is where I've started and stopped because this is my chain 2 that we had, and I want to start off with some new yarn, and I'm gonna start it at the top of the front post double crochet in the first one. So in this round here, basically we need to start separating out the 2 that are together, front post double crochets that are together. So right now is that in the last round we separated that these 2 now have a double crochet in between, and so this is our goal for this one, is that when we do this one, we're going to do a double crochet in between where they're together to split them off. So let's begin. I'm going to just fasten on, and I'm going to chain 2. Just like so. And so what I want to do then at this point is the very first one, this is round number 4, is that we're going to start off and do a front post double crochet around the first one. Very easy peasy, right? So then the next one is that we're gonna put a double crochet in between the 2 front post double crochets to split them. So we're just gonna split them off. Okay, and then the next one is our front post double crochet, and we're gonna maintain that. Whenever there's a front post double crochet in this pattern up until we get to round number 9, is that we're maintaining the front post double crochet always. So you can see that the next one is in between where we split it off, so that's just gonna be a double crochet to match what is already there. Okay, so let's begin. The next one you can see 2 double crochets together, they're the front post. We're gonna honor the first one, so front post double crochet for the first one. We need to split these off, so we're just going to put in a double crochet into the gapping space in between, and then we're going to front post double crochet the second one. So again, the next one, there's a double crochet there. It's not a front post double crochet, we just want to honor it, so we're gonna put a double crochet. The next one is a front post double crochet, we're gonna maintain that one. And see the next front post double crochet, it's right beside it, but we want to split them off, so there will be a double crochet in between. and then put this one to be front post double crochet. Maintain that all the way around. When we come back, I'll fasten off again and we'll get on with the new color with round number 5. So I'm finishing up round number 4 here, and basically we want to honor these front post double crochets that exist, and now we just want to make sure we get into this very last one here. Don't forget that one in order to maintain this pattern, because you see you have front post double crochet, you have front post double crochet on this side. We need to ensure that we put in a double crochet here into the final one. Make sure we only grab those fibers, and then we're just going to join it with the top at the beginning front post double crochet, just like we started, and that completes off this round. So you can clearly see at this round now all the 16 spokes are equally separated by 1 double crochet in between each, but when we come up to the next few rows we're going to be growing incrementally, and this is going to change in between each one of these spokes that we have coming up, and we'll do that right next, but I want to change my yarn once again. Let's begin round number 5, and number 5 is when it starts getting complicated, and we'll take our time for this because 5, 6, 7, and 8 is when it does get kind of confusing. Here's what the back looks like, just so that you're interested, because we are doing the back post or front post double crochet. It looks really kind of even on the first side, and the other side it looks pretty really rumply, just like so. So let's begin. I'm going to fasten on my new color, and I want to just maintain where I am here. So I can see that this is my chaining 2 that I started with, so I want to join my new yarn onto the beginning front post double crochet. And let's begin round number 5 together. To begin number 5, this is the repeat pattern, and I'll show you. So we're gonna chain 2. Remember, that doesn't count as anything, it's just a placeholder. And so we're going to honor the very first front post double crochet with another front post double crochet, just like so. And so the next one is a double crochet, and you can see it's in between the spokes. Okay, so then we're just gonna honor that with the double crochet. So we're now in a front post double crochet situation for the next one, so we're gonna honor that one. And here's where it gets fun. So the next one here, you have a front post double crochet here, you have a front post double crochet here, you have 1 double crochet that is in between. This time we're going to put in 2 double crochets into this one. Okay, so this is where it's gonna grow. So every other in between the spokes, you're gonna have 1 by itself, and the other one is going to have 2. So let's honor the next front post double crochet. So here's the repeat pattern. The next one is a double crochet, just honor that one. And then the next one is a front post double crochet, you want to honor that one. So the next one is going to be 2. So you see that? So we started off with 1 here, we now have 2 sitting here, there's gonna be 1, and now this one here there's going to be 2 double crochets, and we just want to keep repeating that all the way around on this particular round. So let me repeat that one more time. So we're gonna honor the first one with the front post double crochet. The next one is going to be by itself as double crochet because we have the 2 on this side. The next one is a front post double crochet, and this is where we expand it, so there will be 2 into this one here. Continue to do that all the way around for this round, just like so. So we're coming up all the way back around. If you've done your math right, there will be 2 double crochets into the last one, and then we're just going to join it with the top of the beginning, or the beginning front post double crochet. And I'm going to fasten off at this point, and I'm gonna be right back, and I'll just join on another yarn and then show you how to do round number 6. Let's begin round number 6, and I'm just gonna start another color, so it'll be the joining to the top of the first front post double crochet from the round below, like so. So now round number 6 is interesting because what we have to do is that you can clearly see we have 1 double crochet by itself, and then we have the front post. Okay, so I'm gonna call these the spokes, and then you have 2 double crochets here, and then you have a spoke, 1 spoke, 2. So now what we need to do for this round is that every one that is sitting by itself, okay, is going to double itself. So let's begin to do the first one. So we're gonna chain 2, 1 and 2. And what we need to do is that we need to honor the first spoke, so it's front post double crochet, and the next one is sitting by itself. So this time when it's sitting by itself, I want you to put in 2 double crochets, like so. So here's another spoke coming up, so that's gonna be honored with the front post double crochet, just like so. And now this one has 2 double crochets in it, in between the 2 spokes, so we're just gonna give it 1 double crochet into each. So on this round what's happening is that we're becoming back in balance so that we're gonna end up with 2 double crochets that separate each one of the spokes. Let's review that one more time. We have 2 spokes here with 1 in the middle, therefore this one should have 2 put into this one. 2 double crochets into the same stitch, and then we honor the front post double crochet like so. The next one has already 2, so we're just gonna put in 1 into each and continue to repeat that same pattern going all the way around. When you get all the way back around you should end up with 2 that are sitting by themselves here, just like you had. So you had them together. In this one they're 2 by themselves, and we just join it with the top of the beginning front post double crochet. So let's begin. We're going to work on the next one, round number 7, and I'm gonna change my yarn once again. Let's begin round number 7 together, and I'm just going to join on a new color, and I'm just going to join it to the top of the front post double crochet that we started with, just like so. So let's begin, and this time we're going to do another expansion, but this time we cannot grow it equally again. So you can see everything is back in balance. We have 2's in between each one of the spokes. This time we're gonna send it off balance once again and then be back in balance for round number 8. To begin we're going to start off and we're going to chain off 2 just like so, and we're going to honor the first 2 double crochets that sit by themselves. Sorry, let's get that front post double crochet first. So we're gonna just honor the front post double crochet, and you have 2 double crochets that are sitting by themselves. We just want to put 1 into each. So we're not gonna expand in between this particular spoke to the next spoke. So here's the next front post double crochet. We're gonna give another front post double crochet, and now here's where we're going to do the expansion. So on this one here, when you have 2 by themselves, you're going to put in 2 double crochets into the first one, 1 and 2, followed by the next one will be by itself. So a double crochet by itself, and then we're gonna do another spoke. So the repeat pattern on this one here is that the first set of spokes there's gonna be 2 double crochets by themselves. The next one there will be 3. So let's repeat this pattern once again. So these 2 that are coming up are gonna get 1 double crochet into each, and then we make the next spoke. So it's front post double crochet around the other one, and now it's this one that we're going to do the expansion. So the first one is gonna get 2 double crochets, and then the next one is by itself a double crochet, and then the next spoke. So if you can really see that on this particular round, then we're growing it, but it's not growing equally, because in round number 8 what we're going to do is put in 3 into this one, and we're gonna leave these be 3 into this one, and then it'll be back in balance once again. Please do that same pattern going all the way around. Just finishing up round number 7, and we're just going to join it to the top of the beginning front post double crochet. I'm going to fasten off at this point, and you can clearly see everything's starting to come together. It's really still quite flat, and it's great, and we're going to work on round number 8. Round number 8 is the final growing revolution in order to make all of these spikes work out really well. So let's fasten off this yarn. I'll be right back and have some new yarn, and we'll get started. Let's begin round number 8, and I'm just joining on my new yarn. I want to join it to the top of the beginning front post double crochet like so. So this round is about making balance happen. So the first one we have 2 single or double crochets by themselves. The next one we have 3. So this time around we want to put in so that it's growing in the ones that only have 2. So if you remember that, it just makes it a lot easier. So we're going to start off, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to honor the first front post double crochet just like so. And so this time around what we want to do at the very first one here, we want to turn it into 2. So we're just gonna put in 2 double crochets into that same stitch, and then the next one is a double crochet by itself, and then the next spoke is happening. So front post double crochet. So we put in 2 there, there's 1 in there. So this time this one has 3, so we just want to maintain it. So we're just gonna put in 1 double crochet into each one of the 3 to bring balance in between each one of the spokes as you go all the way around. So we have a spoke next. So here's the repeat pattern, and again this one only has 2, so we're gonna make that first one turn into 2 by itself, okay, into the same stitch, and then 1 into the next. And so therefore you just now have 3 like you do in the other ones, and then the next ones, there's already 3 in there, so we're just gonna honor it with 1 double crochet into each. Continue that same pattern going all the way around. This is the final time that we're growing this one. It's gonna take a few more revolutions for it to stop growing, and this is the hard part, I think, of this entire piece, just like so. When you get all the way back around, we're just going to join it to the top of the beginning front post double crochet, just like so, and we have now just completed that, and now we're ready to move up to round number 9. 9 and 10 are the repeat pattern for the remainder of it until we get to the visor, and it's actually really easy and a lot of fun, I have to say. When I come back, I'm gonna change color once again, and I'm gonna show you how to do rounds number 9 and 10. So I just joined on a new color. I'm ready for rounds number 9. 9 is just single crochet all the way around. If joining the yarn, you will be starting at the top of the beginning front post double crochet. So even if you are not joining new yarn, that's exactly where you would be anyway. So let's begin. We're going to chain 1 and then just single crochet into each one of the stitches going all the way around. We're no longer growing this out. I've decided that I'm gonna make the remaining of my color the same with this beautiful bright fuchsia color, and I'm basically just honoring exactly what is there. So there's gonna be a single crochet into each one of these going all the way around, and when we come back I'll be at the end of this round and I'll show you how to do rounds number 10, and 10 is really simple as well. So let's continue to do that in just a moment. When you finish round number 9, you're just going to simply just join it to the beginning, just like so. So let's begin. Round number 10 is actually really simple. It's just a matter of watching for where the spokes are. So we're now ready to begin round number 10, and round number 10 is really easy, and it's just a matter of maintaining the pattern. You're going to see these spokes are really gonna start popping out. To begin, we're going to chain 2. Remember, that doesn't count it as anything in this. So we're going to look for the first front post double crochet, which is the very next one here, and we want to go into that one. So it's not the row below, it's the second one. Okay, and we're just gonna maintain that, and we're gonna put in 3 front post double crochet into that one. So it's a like spoke, right? So we're making that spoke really pop out at this time. And now in between, what we have to do is that you see that there's 3 double crochets by themselves. We want only the middle one, and we're going to double crochet into that spot. So let's begin to do the repeat pattern. We immediately look for the next spoke, which is right here. We're going to front post double crochet, so it's not into that single crochet line that we just did. We want to put in 3 in there. And then once you have that done, you see the next 3 here, you're just gonna double crochet into the middle one of the 3, and please repeat that same pattern going all the way around. Once you come all the way back around, you're going to have your double crochet in between, and you're just going to join it to the top of the beginning front post double crochet. So that chaining 2, we don't even worry about it at this time. So let's begin. We're going to start off with the next round, and round number 11 is really simple. We're just going to chain up 1, and we're just going to single crochet into that first stitch, and then into every stitch going all the way around. So this is a very simple round, and it makes it really easy to follow this pattern, because we're just gotta either do front post double crochets like we just did all the way around, or we're going to do single crochets until we get to our visor. So please single crochet all the way around. When you get all the way back around, we're just going to join it to the top of the beginning single crochet that we started off with, just like so. So now we're going to start off with the next round, and round number 12. Now round number 12, we're going to be doing these spiky things just like so, the front post double crochet, but we're not gonna do it on top of each other. We're going to do it in between. Do you remember that double crochet that we did in between each one of those? Those are where we're going to be playing for this particular round. But right now we're in the wrong section of this particular pattern. We need to move over to the middle one of the 3. We're on the first one. We just need to slip stitch over to the first one to get started. To get started for then at this point is that we're just going to just chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3 just to get started, just like so. And what we're going to do at this point then is that we're going to double crochet 3 times into this front post that's 2 rows down, just like so. So 1, 2, and 3. And now this time we're going to then put in 1 double crochet into the middle one of the 3 that exists right here, just like there. Okay, so let's repeat this again. So we're just gonna just separate them. You can see the double crochet is down 2 rows below, and you're going to put in 3 double crochet around that. That's front post double crochet, and then we just need to put in 1 double crochet into the middle one of the 3 from the last row that you see there. Okay, so continue to do that all the way around, and when we come back I will show you some more tips on to being able to get started or continue this pattern. So this is a really easy one to follow along. When you get all the way back around on this round, remember that you've already started with your chain 3, and so you just want to begin to slip stitch to the top of the beginning chain 3 to bring that round into conclusion. To start off the next round, so you know how to do this pattern now, it's just a repeat of doing these several rounds from 10 all the way to 14. So we're just going to start again, and we're going to just chain 1 single crochet into each one of the stitches going all the way around, and then just basically just continue to start up exactly where you should go. So this time when we come back all the way around, we're gonna be doing exactly what you did here. So you'll be back here for round number 10, and just keep repeating the pattern going all the way around. When we come back, I'm going to have the remainder of this hat completed, and then we are going to start off with doing the visor. The visor is really simple. It's just a matter of actually doing it and making it really look great at that point. So I'll leave this to you. You're also looking for dimensions of 8 inches. So when you go to fold this hat down, that you're looking for an 8-inch thing. You can try on this hat as well to make sure that it's gonna fit you for the right height that you have. And then basically when we go to look at the actual finished model, just like so, you can clearly see that the visor comes down a little bit low like this to keep that sunshine off your eyes and to make it really cool, and you can clearly see it just looks like that at this point. So it gives you a really indication what you're looking for. So off camera I've been working on another version, and you can see my color changes. So you'll see that there's kind of interesting colors here. You got like a maroon here in between. All I did for that is, instead of making a solid single crochet and then one of these front post double crochets, what I did is I changed the color every round to make these colors look like they're just immediately just popping out of just little areas. Makes it for a little bit of an interesting effect. So once you get to the height that you need, it's about 8 inches that they're recommending. You can try it on your head if you're making it for yourself as well. You're going to finish off then, and you're going to make 2 solid rounds of just single crochet going all the way around. But do not fasten off unless you intend to change color. For me, of course, I'm going to change my color again so that my visor is going to be a different color than the main colors, just like you see here. So I decided to do like a solid gray here just for a visual effect, and then I just need to finish off 2 rounds of doing single crochet all the way around. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to join you back here, and we're going to begin to do the visor, which is really quite simple. It's actually just single crochet back and forth. So do 2 rounds of single crochet, and I'll meet you and we'll get started on the visor, and you're almost done at this point. To begin, I'm just going to fasten on where I just went around, and technically if you're not changing color you'll be at the spot anyway. So I'm just changing my color just to make my visor a little more interesting, so when I fold it up, it's folding up over the gray and it looks a lot more visually interesting. So what we're going to do is that to start off with, we're going to chain 1 and 1 single crochet into the starting, and what we have to do at this point is that we're going to do 1 single crochet into 46 stitches. Now you can watch me do it, or you can just do it on your own. So we have 1 in there so far, 2, and then 3. So this is what you already know, 4 and 5, and go all the way to 46, and we'll meet back up in just a moment. So you're going to get to 46, and you can kind of see what's happening here. It doesn't go all the way around, just a partial. Once you get to the end, we are just going to turn our work, chain 1, and then begin again. So we're just gonna single crochet. So you need to do a total of 10 of these rows going back and forth, continuing to go on. It is a sharp edge just like you see, so when you see it folded up on the hat, you can see it's a nice straight line, and all it is, it's 10 rows of just doing single crochet. So please do that, and when we come back I'll just give you an overview for the button, and then this is called quits for today. So here's what the hat looks like now. I have my 10 rows for the brim, and this does not look like our hat yet, but it's very, very close. All we just have to do is just fold up the brim on the one side for now, and we'll just have it on a slight angle like so, and just using a button we just want to sew right through this flap here as well as going right through to the hat underneath, and all we just have to do is do the same thing on both sides, and then this is permanently up. Now here's a tip for you. I noticed that on my hat, one of the sides when I go to fold it up, maybe it's this side, one of the sides it just happens to, even if you pin it, it falls down. Like I just kind of see how this kind of just comes down like this. All I just did is that I took the same color yarn and I just tacked it, so I came up with my darning needle, just really tacked this down as well as putting into the button like so, and therefore you end up with the perfect piece that looks like it's all part of the hat as well. So it's a little tip just in case. When I come back I'll have this hat completely done. We're just gonna use a sewing needle in order to come in, and this is really quite easy and fun. Here's a little useless tip for you, but actually it might work out pretty good. So what I like to do is that I like to have my yarn as actually the focal point on top of a button. But how do I get yarn through a needle that's gonna be able to fit through this? See these kind of needles here? They're really interesting. So they have a big huge gap space right in the middle. I don't want to pull it apart too far, but what I can do is that I can get my yarn into this gapping space, and it kind of just closes onto itself. So it's better than a darning needle, and all I just need to do is that when I go to fix up like so, is that this here will actually fit through the eye of the needle like so. So that's a great little tip in order for you to get your needles through your particular buttons, and these are really kind of cool and fabulous. To affix the button, all I'm just gonna do is just fold up the one side like so, and it's up on a slight angle like this. And what I need to do is that I've created a slip knot on the other side of the string, and I'm just gonna poke it through just to a rough area to where I want the button, and just pushing it through, and then I'm going to insert my button on there like so. So I just want to kind of rotate it so it's not too close to the edge, and so I can come up one side like so, and I don't want to pull it all the way through. I want to leave that loop coming through the bottom and go down through across to the other side. See how effective these tools work like so, and I want to go through that loop. Notice I'm not really using this tool to really apply pressure to it. I'm using the string itself. This is a really thin and it will break very easily, and so I don't want to ruin my chances for ruining a tool. And so essentially once I have that in, I want to come back the other side, just kind of poking it through. It's a matter of trying to find the hole. There we go, got it. Just like so. And so now I have the beautiful yarn that's in there, has it around the button. It looks a lot more kind of homemade, but in a way that looks really quite cool. And all I'm just gonna do is then just go through a few of the fibers here in the back and just make sure that it catches and then ties everything shut. And then I'm gonna trim my ends really short, and I'm gonna do the same for both sides. It just makes it really a lot easier with this little tool. I've seen them on the shelves, I just didn't know exactly how to use them up until this point. So that's it, and so you can see now that the yarn is through. So this here, all I'm just gonna do, see how it's kind of folding down? So I'm gonna use the same string, might as well, right? It's already there. And I'm just gonna come up through another section closer to the top of the, up to where this is folding in. I'm just gonna go through there. Right up top. And then back down, and you'll never see it, and then that'll be permanently affixed to the top of the hat and won't be worrying about falling down. I found one of the sides likes to do that, and then again just tie it in to the fibers in behind, and you never have to worry about that slipping down on you while you're wearing it. And just cut the string, and then you're good to go, and just do the other side. Make sure when you do the other side, the angle that you have established here, you want to establish it for the other side as well to be the same, so that it looks consistent. So as you can see, I'm finished. I now have my buttons in place. The brim is now permanently folded up, providing a nice visor right into the center of the hat, and then coming down the other side. It kind of reminds me of what was that, Robin Hood. It actually looks really amazing. Thank you so much for joining me today on behalf of Yarnspirations.com as well as the Crochet Crowd. Thank you so much, and until next time, we'll see you.
Sunny day.